Hey everyone, welcome back to Planet Coaster 2 and an overview of update number 3. I'm primarily going to focus on the scenery pieces in this update. I'm sure there will be a lot of great videos around the stock coasters that are being added. It has the Vector, which is a sit-down launch new gen, and the Outmax, which is a launched hydraulic coaster. And so, again, people who are more of an expert on the coaster side of things will do a great job handling that today. We're going to focus on the scenery. So, this is an entrance that I started working on shortly after the game released, and just kind of ran out of steam, with some of the frustrations in the game and lack of scenery items, and not wanting to necessarily have to build every single thing custom. And so I decided to just pause kind of for a bit to play the game and spend more time in Tivoli Zoo trying to wrap that up. And so anyway, that being said, this may or may not turn into a project at some point in time, but I did want to show off a couple of little things that I built using the new scenery here. I'm getting caught on the ground on something. So by the way, I think this was in the last update, loving the enhanced pathfinding from all of the guests. They used to just basically be a single file line right down the middle here through this center entrance. So loving that. But one of the things that I used this set for a ton in Planet Coaster 1 was a lot of these classic American Main Street type buildings that you see in Disneyland and Disney World and in other theme parks. But I really enjoy this style of architecture, and so I enjoy bringing it to life inside the Planet Coaster games. And there really wasn't a ton of options to make this a reality. And so when I built these two, and I would have loved to do more, I ran out of time. I was hoping to kind of have like a whole little main street to show off here, but what I tried to do here is utilize primarily stuff from the update, so the Western pack, and I would say both of these buildings, 90% of it is the Western pack, and few odds and ends that aren't. But it gives you an example of what we can do with this new pack. And one of my favorite things, I loved working with these pieces in Planet Coaster 1, but now that we can scale them too, opens up so much more flexibility and options in terms of how you use the pieces. So for example, here on this main building, you've got, pop out here, this main building, these are the exact same windows on the top and bottom here, but the ability to scale them, and I still sunk them in a little bit, so you can see, I'll pop this out here. You can see I still used some tricks to hide it and make them smaller than they actually are, and added a scenery piece across there. But the bottom line is now you can really do some things to provide that forced perspective. As you can see from the peep down here, this is neither one of these are massive buildings. They're very much scaled down like you would find in a Disney type main street. So loving that. Also the brick pieces here, these are brick pillars, which allows you to sink the windows in, which just adds another nice little detail. And then something that is returning that I missed in Planet Zoo was the ability to sink in signs. So you can see here we've got a sign here that can actually, the way that they layered these, you can actually sink it into other scenery pieces and just have the text appear. I know I could use these types of signs too, but it's nice to have another option where it's just kind of a pre-built in-game sign that you can sink into a wall like that. But yeah, loving this so far. One of the biggest things that I wanted to show here is that now this piece, this wooden tile roof, is an option where you don't have to build a completely custom roof out of individual shingles. I did here, so a structure like this you have to, but previously I was using this piece as my individual shingle, which is not bad. It's not a bad piece, but this was our go-to in Planet Coaster 1, and so it's welcome return from this bracket piece, as well as some of these other bracket pieces which allow you to do these custom cornices and things like that. So overall, I mean, if this was a paid DLC, I would tell you it's a must buy. So the fact that we're getting it for free, I'm hoping gets a lot of people back into the game and excited about building in Planet Coaster, along with some of the fixes to the game. You know, now that the peeps aren't so robotic and are kind of, at least have the appearance of randomness, to me, it's adding some more of the charm back into the game where it feels more alive than it did before. So hopefully they can continue to improve that, and we'll have a game that's on really solid footing going forward. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and pause this, and we'll go take a look at these scenery items over here. So like the other scenery sets, the animatronics are not scalable. Neither are the grid pieces that are off in the distance there. Everything else you can scale. Not everything is recolorable. The vast majority of it is, but some items still are not. So this is your whole animatronic set here. Again, none of these are rescalable. My only complaint about these is we still have the sticks up the butts of the animatronics here. So that to me is a miss. I mean, I know that they probably just ported these over from the original game and maybe enhanced them slightly, but most parks in this day and age, the animatronics are advanced enough where they've hidden all of these sort of support structures and features, and it's plausible to just have the animatronic doing its thing without, you know, giving it the obvious implication that it is an animatronic with these sticks. So hopefully as they continue to develop the game and add additional scenery packs, they decide to drop the sticks up the butts. So here's a good one. A good piece too that I've been missing is this was kind of our go-to bench to hide into some scenery items. So if I just I'll filter by the Western theme here. You can see I was searching for another piece there. So if I, just as an example, you know, if you've got a wall or something like that, this is a really easy one to sink in. You can even shrink this down and make it more manageable, but really easy to sink in. And now the peeps will actually come sit on this wall. So I'm very much happy to see that one return. There may be something that's viable for that purpose currently in the game. I haven't had a need for it yet. So there may be something people are already using, but I know that one will work for that purpose too. Otherwise, pretty generic. I mean, this doesn't have to be Western themed. It can be used for a lot of other areas and styles of a park. So those are great additions. Tons of these sort of decorative pieces. So you got like buckets and boxes and luggage and spools of rope and lots of that kind of stuff, which would be good for just generic clutter. One of the things I'm really, really excited about, and I know we have the let me clear these. I know we have the where are they? They're not in this, I guess. You know what I'm talking about, the transparent signs that you can make custom. I know we have those, which are great, but it's also nice sometimes to just have a sign that you want to, you know, put your own text into, and it just pops up and makes it quick. Also with scaling, I love that these now could even be a building piece, right? You don't have to use it just as signage. I mean, this could be the top of a building or a decorative piece on a building very, very easily. So tons of versatility with these, and looking forward to seeing all the ways that people use those. As I mentioned, you've got the metal signs here that are perfect for sinking into scenery, which I did over here. So you can see that's just this piece here that's been sunken in. Now you can in Planet, you've always been able to do this in Planet Coaster, but in Planet Zoo, this option was not available. There weren't the slight separation of layers there to allow you to do this. So that's an awesome thing to see return. Some of these other pieces are obviously massive. So this one right here, this is scaled down to 50%. If I go back to 100%, that's the standard scale of that boat. Which maybe not too terrible actually when I look at the peeps in the distance. If you're actually going to have, you you might be something closer to 75% is more realistic, but you can go as low as 50. What's crazy is you can also go 200%, 300%. So I don't know what purpose that would hold, but it's an option. It's there for you. And then you can go all the way down to that 50% size there. Same thing with these items. These are all scalable, which I don't remember this little cart from the first game, but maybe I just never used it because it was big. I've already scaled this. Oh no, that's 100%. So maybe that was in there. I don't remember it. But then there's these wagon stands that it comes as one complete set, and then it also has the individual pieces that are separate. The only miss here is this piece you can't recolor. This would be really useful for building interiors, but sadly it's only in that color. You can always cover it up, but if you're going to cover it up at that point, you might as well just build something custom. Additional little details, these water towers were something a lot of us used. Also, the ability to scale them down is going to be really, really nice to make them fit into to the charm of a theme park. Same thing with these railroad tracks. You can now scale these down. So if you wanted to imply that, a railroad's going off somewhere, or even use this in a ride where kind of like the Donkey Kong ride, where there's broken track or missing track, you could use that as scenery for a ride like that. Hopefully, ideally there would be some broken pieces, but you could probably fake some broken pieces using these as well. And then these are a great addition just for decoration or return, I should say. Then you've got these train pieces. So these are the standard sizes. And I've shrunk them down as far as they can go. So again, for like a kiddie area, these could be used for some awesome purpose in decoration or theming. And then here's the 100-ish. Yeah, that's the normal size, but you can go all the way down to 50. And then again, I think these go all the way to 300. Yeah. Again, I don't know what you'd use it for, but there it is. On the focus of scaling, having the ability to scale fencing also is going to be incredible. Really, really excited to continue to use these pieces, especially this set here of railings. This is something that I used a ton in Planet Coaster 1. We'll continue to use a ton in this game, and now these are a slightly big in my opinion compared to the Peeps, but now you can just scale them down exactly to how you want them. One miss on scaling is, where are they? Some of the awning pieces right here. So I wish there was a little more standardization of how far you can go, because there's some pieces that let you go down to 10%. At 50%, this is like the two buildings I just showed you. This is still way too big for that scale. So let's do that. Let's put it at 50%. And then, maybe not terrible for that building, but definitely too big for that one. So it would just be nice to have the option to go a little bit smaller and make them work. And that rectangular one too doesn't even fit here. So if you want to do an awning on something that small, you're going to have to make a custom one, which you could with some of the drapes and things like that. In theory, you could try to make something custom, or even art shapes is what we used to do in Planet Coaster 1. Lots of potential for steampunk stuff with all of these pieces. Always welcome to have more metal pieces that can be used for lots of different things. These roof sets are great to have off-grid, to just be able to make custom stuff. Wanted to illustrate the size difference as well. So this is the standard size. That's all the way down to 50% scaling. Still pretty big, but better than that standard one. These wooden pieces are some of my favorite for cornices and things like that. This is a great piece, this veranda roof, for anything where you don't want to have to build it all by custom shingles. It's a great addition to have there. And then the doors and windows in this set are amazing. Not only for the purpose of using them as, just windows and doors, but to be able to utilize the edge pieces. I did that a ton in Planet Coaster 1, use this edge piece as a trim piece, especially scaling it down. You can get a pretty small edge piece there by doing that, or even scaling these big, and using it as a wall piece. You know, that's always an option too. So lots of versatility here with all of those. Like I said, doors included. This was one of my favorites from the first game. Additional beams. You can see there's different textures here. So you've got one that's very, you know, sort of polished and smooth. So this would give give the appearance of something brand new versus something old and faded. Same thing with these. So depending on your preferences there, you might love or hate these. You know, a lot of the stuff I tend to build is a little bit more polished and clean, and so I tend to gravitate towards these types of pieces versus something that has a little more wear and tear on it like that. But either way, really good. These I wish you could recolor. That would be a nice thing to have, even from a backstage standpoint, being able to put some ladders here and there. These are also some of my favorites. So I already showed you the brick pillar that I used to sink those windows into. This one is a great piece too, just to use this edge. You can do lots of masonry stuff with that. So, you know, if you wanted to do like an arch piece, you could keep going like this and kind of create some kind of arch detail over one of those rounded windows if you wanted to. I mean, that's very, very quick and dirty, but you get the idea. There's lots of potential there for masonry work. Also, this set has some really nice toppers to the roof sections that you can utilize. They obviously show more promise for like a Western theme, but you don't. There's plenty of opportunity to use this as a generic theme park type of scenery as well. These are all recolorable. The brackets, I can't believe I skipped over those. So I kind of showed them on that building, but here's all the options you get. This is the one that I use for the shingles. You could certainly use that one for it as well, depending on the look you're actually, I mean, you could technically now use any of these because you can shrink them down so small. But loved having these as a part of the game the first go round, because the texture of them, if you color them right, they can look like stone, and they just match so well with the look of a cornice. One thing I wish we did have is more sort of masonry pieces. So there's another set. Unfortunately, I think it was either Ghostbusters, which I know they don't have anymore, so maybe they can loop some of that scenery into a generic pack somewhere else. It doesn't, or at least one where it would kind of make sense. But there's other sets in the previous game that had a lot more brick walls and beams and decorative pieces and things like that. So I would love to see some of those return at some point in the game here. This set is a nice batten wall set, so you also can recolor this, and I think this is going to be fantastic for a lot of generic builds. It's going to look really nice. Also has some of these pieces that you can recolor as well. There's a corrugated roof set in addition to the full veranda set. So I didn't put all the pieces out just because basically any of these combos you want, they're here. And then this wall set too, same thing. This is the wood plank wall, a little bit more rustic looking, but still can recolor. And this wall set is available in all of these pieces too, as an option. So really, really good stuff here in my opinion. Again, if this was something for sale, I would recommend purchasing it. I would tell you it's worth buying, but the fact that we're getting it for free, I'm hoping will create some goodwill around the game and some excitement again around the game, and maybe get some more people back into it. I know for me, this will definitely get me playing again, and maybe even turning this into something. We'll see. I don't know if this is a project you would like to see at some point, let me know. Otherwise, I might just keep kind of building odds and ends here and there, and then as the game gets a little more on some solid footing, start piecing them together in a legit project. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will definitely be having a few more episodes of Tivoli Zoo on the channel here. I've got a couple that are recorded and just need to be edited. So progress is being made there. I'd say we're about 90% of the way home on that project, and can't wait to put it on the workshop for people to see. So anyway, thank you so much. I hope you all have a great time checking out the new scenery items. I can't wait to see what other people build using this set. Like I said, it was one of the best ones in the first game. So hope you all enjoy it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in another episode on the channel.